guys, TavHD here, and today we are doing an unboxing of the Logitech G920 driving force racing wheel for Xbox One and PC. We will also unbox the driving force shifter as well, so let's get started. First off, let's open up the wheel itself, and this is for Xbox and PC. As I've said, it comes with 3 pedals, clutch, brake and accelerator. I believe those are made of metal, and the wheel has leather around it, so that should be good. So I've already cut the tape at the back. There is some tabs we can open, and then the box can open up like that. Let's get a better view. Okay, so first in the box when we open it is the instructions on how to set it up. We may need those if we can't work it out. But in the box we have the power cord to power it. Because it has force feedback, it can't just run through USB, so that's why we need that. Then also we have a play seat information card. It's basically persuading me to spend more money on a dedicated rig for this, so we're not going to need that. We also have important information which no one will ever read. Then we've got this cable, which it looks like a serial port to me, which is connected to the pedals. So let's take those out. Okay, so here are the pedals in their plastic. These are very heavy, and it says warning, you can suffocate, which is great. So we'll put those down and take a look at what else is in here. Okay, so the only other thing we have now is the steering wheel, which is also wrapped in plastic. There it is. Let's take a closer look at that once I've moved the box. Okay, so now we've emptied the box, we can take a closer look at the wheel. We'll start off by taking off this plastic. Okay, so this wheel is 27 centimeters in diameter. It's leather wrapped, which feels good. It's got a metal point at the top, so you know when the wheel's facing upwards. And yes, this feels quite good. Flappy paddles, not too loud, but you can definitely feel them. Buttons quite tactile here. And we've got some plastic over the G logo, but for now we will leave that on. Okay, so putting the wheel aside, let's take a look at the pedals. Here they are in their plastic, so we can just take this out. Okay, there are the pedals, made of metal, the actual ones. And from the reviews that I've seen, people are complaining about the stiffness of the brake pedal, but because I've not actually tried it yet, I'm not sure what that's going to be like, but once I've used it, I will definitely tell you. But just from pressing it, yeah, that does feel quite firm, but I guess you get used to it. So that's everything that was in the box of the wheel, apart from the power cord, but we don't need to do an unboxing of that. But then when we're setting it up, I will show that then. So now we can take a look at the shifter. Right, so now let's unbox the driving force shifter. Now the reviews aren't the best. People say it's quite cheap feeling, but for £30, what do you expect? And compared to things like the Thrustmaster one, can't remember the model number of that, I think that's over £100. So for the price, I'm sure it will be fine. Tells you information about it, and then let's open it. I've already cut the seal on this just to save time. Okay, opening it up here, and straight away we can see the shifter in its plastic here, and there is also the information, but it seems to be stuck to the side of the box. So in here, yeah, it's stuck. That's the information in there, but we don't need that, so we will just leave that. Here's the shifter. Let's open it up out of the plastic. Okay, here it is. So yeah, it's not the most solid feeling, but it's fine. So I'll definitely give a verdict on that once I have used it. Okay, so now we are going to connect the shifter and pedals to the wheel. So let's get the pedals first, because those are quite important. And we can see it connects with this connector, and on the back of the wheel I believe there is a place to plug it in. So if we take a look on the back of the wheel, I'm not sure if you can see, but there is little pictures which tells you where to plug things in. And for the shifter, says to plug it in just there. So let's do that now. Okay, as you can see, that is now plugged into there. So this is now usable as it is, as the shifter isn't required, but we will also plug that in a moment. Right, so this is a bit of a better view now, so you can see where I am plugging it in. The shifter uses the same sort of connector, but it has to go into a different port, which is on this side, so we can now plug that in as well. Okay, that's in, and now this should be ready to use. Okay, so when you're ready to mount the wheel, what you can do is line the clamps up and then just screw the top bit and then push it down and it locks into place. And you can do this on the other side as well. However, please note, if you've got a thick desk like me, you may need to knock off these clamp extenders. Just hit them and they'll pop right off, and you can also put them back on if you want to use the wheel on a thin surface. Now for the shifter, it's exactly the same case. You just use these little knobs and push it down when it's ready, and on the underneath there's a little pole as well that is used to secure the shifter into place. When you're ready to use the wheel, plug it into the wall with the adapter that we saw earlier, and then plug the USB into your Xbox, and then you'll see this light flashing. Now if we start up the Xbox, we will see that it will connect to the wheel, and the wheel will then configure itself and it becomes all stiff until you're in a game. Now you may have heard when my wheel was turning left, there was some squeaking, and yes, that does seem to be a problem with lots of these wheels, and that's something you're going to have to bear in mind. Okay, so now we're in a game. This just happens to be Forza Horizon 4. You can see that the wheel is now controlling the game, and the gear shifter is changing the gears. First up there, second down, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then press down and back is reverse. As you can see now, the force feedback is indeed working for the game. As you can see, the wheel is now moving according to what's going on in the game. And for the shifter, as long as you've connected it properly, it works just as you would expect a shift. After a little bit of use, I can tell you that the accelerator is very easy to press, so is the clutch for changing gear, but the brake is quite stiff, but it will be something that I get used to, and the build quality of those pedals is absolutely great. Now I believe that is everything you need to know about this wheel and shifter. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing video and little setup, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.